Hello everyone, welcome to my first long form video. My first one is going to be on the Arena patch 1.4.1. They released it today, which is December 28, 2023, and I think it's pretty exciting, the changes that they brought. First, there's a new map that's available for 2v2s and 3v3s called the Chop Chop. And as always, BSG is releasing bangers for their maps. I have absolutely nothing negative to say about the design of the map right now. It's top-notch, just like the case with pretty much all of their other maps. There's also what I would argue is probably the largest, most important change that is kind of a stopgap, but was definitely necessary, and I'm glad they rolled something out quick. And this is basically that matchmaking is now being based on ARP, which is the points you get when you win, or the points you lose when you lose a match, as well as meta points, which, if you don't know, are basically the value of the kit that you bring in to try and balance things out. Like, if I have an AS Val and class 4 armor and, heightened meds and ears, I'm in the 600s, whereas someone bringing in, say, a pistol and no armor might be around 100 with simple meds. As I said before, I think it's an awesome stopgap until they can switch preset selection to before entering a match, but after knowing what map you will play on. Although it isn't really a perfect solution since there's ways to cheat this system, it is a massive step in the right direction and will mean a lot less frustration for good players who want to level a new preset, or average players who want to level a new preset, or new players who are starting to level a new preset, as BSG lets more people in. Next up, we have vaulting and obstacle interaction. It's an interesting mechanic, vaulting, that I haven't really been able to get working. This may be because I found using the press type called release on the jump button to be really awkward. This is probably in part to my enjoyment of sprint jump shotting from my labs days, but also wanting to jump as soon as I press the space button, because that's basically been my muscle memory over the last couple decades, as that's the way it works with every other game that I've ever played anyway, in an FPS. As such, I've switched vaulting to the Z key, but unfortunately BSG hasn't given us the option of taking it off the press type of continuous. Hopefully they change this in the future. I'm sure they will continue to refine it with time. Supposedly BSG also added a game setting, you can see it in the notes here, for auto or hotkey vaulting, but I couldn't find this in the settings at all. Leave a comment below if you found the setting, and maybe you can help me find it. There's also what's called shoulder transitions, and they work, but on your left side, like when you switch to your left shoulder, it's kind of janky, both in terms of look and in terms of feel. It needs a lot of work, but also has a lot of potential for high-level gameplay and an enemy not being able to assume which side you will attack them from. It's always been a pretty safe assumption that someone's going to try and right-hand peek you or be sitting around a corner that's going to give them the right-hand peek. Now I think that might change a little bit, especially if they iron out some of the issues. Now, there is potential that it was intentional for it to be awkward in order to, quote-unquote, balance left shoulder. But if we're trained PMCs in a war zone, we should be proficient with shoulder transitions as far as I'm concerned. in respect to the new recoil mechanics, the ones that just came over from, call it Core Tarkov, or Escape from Tarkov, it's a great change in absolutely the right direction, especially when it comes to the horizontal recoil. But if you're a Tarkov veteran, your brain will require a lot of retraining on the new system, or at least I know mine has. Horizontal recoil really was the bane of Tarkov becoming a competitive shooter, as it was like a lot of random deviation you can't like train for. You didn't know if it was going to go a little to the left or a little to the right. It was always kind of, and how much, it was always random on the horizontal plane. That being said, there is still some work to be done on the recoil. I'm trying to think of the best way to explain it, but it feels mechanical instead of organic. The guns don't feel like they used to kind of feel like they should, even though it's a video game, right? And you might not have shot it in real life. It suited the gun. Seeing an Ash 12 fire 50 caliber rounds on full auto in the new recoil looks like an airsoft gun. I'm not saying it should be the extreme it was in Tarkov, like Core Tarkov, but what it is now is definitely too far to the other side. In my opinion, it should feel substantially more violent with substantially more upward movement, something the user needs to adjust for. The best way I can explain the minimum change that needs to happen is the higher you go in caliber, there should be an order of magnitude that the vertical recoil goes up. Now, when I'm using the word magnitude for recoil, I'm using it very, very specifically. If you aren't familiar, I'm using it in a similar way to like an earthquake. A magnitude 2 earthquake is not just twice as powerful as a magnitude 1, as the name would suggest, but it's actually, in fact, somewhere around 31 times more powerful. I would like to see the same concept applied to vertical recoil between the various calibers. And I think in time, BSG will definitely realize this and make adjustments. But I'm very happy to see it moving in the right direction and becoming a recoil system that's more in line with competitive shooters, which is exactly what Arena is supposed to be. Something that can be available for esports. The next and kind of the final big thing that I saw in this patch was the economy changes and the rating system, to be honest. I personally think it's for the better. They've increased the cash payout for victories pretty substantially. And this, in my opinion, was very much needed, as it was easy to go broke as an average gamer or trying to level even a new preset. They have put more of an emphasis on participation and performance for progress by increasing the experience for various things like objective taking, kills, headshots, triple kills, all of that good stuff. I'd like to continue to see more of this to minimize the inevitable onslaught of people who AFK to progress and inevitably, ruin a lot of other people's games. I personally experienced this in 2v2s. Guy comes in, has the free pistol kit, and I'm stuck there fighting for my life in a 1v2 in every round. Now, the rating changes to shootout seem interesting in respect to progressing, but I'm not sure how game-changing that'll really be. I think it just means you move up more quickly, and you move down more quickly, depending on if you win or lose. And I'll just kind of scroll through here so you can stop the video at any time if you want to look at it. But then we get some changes to the presets. I'll scroll through it again, and you can kind of just stop the video if you want to view any of them individually. But the ones that really stand out to me are going to be, you know, the Cobra with going down to a class 4 armor from a class 5 that wasn't full durability, but was still class 5. The Zenith, which I thought this was a really intelligent way for them to weaken the class. Pretty much everybody under the sun thought this was too powerful. You had an Alton, you had 60 rounds of BT through an AK that had no recoil, pretty much. You had a full class 5 armor that also covered your stomach. And now they've reduced the durability of said class 5 armor to 56 from 80. That should help a lot with your ability to kill these Alton gamers, which I think is a great change. The other notable thing I noticed on the presets would be Cracksman and Climber getting 30-round mags for their secondary SMGs, and Click getting a light laser combo for their SMG, which helps them with point fire, as well as potentially seeing in dark corners or blinding people. In respect to the bugs and general game changes, for me, it was really just the reducing the loudness of the music at the end game screen and the kill counts. It's a great change. And getting an increase to the FPS with weaker CPUs, who could possibly complain about that? So all in all, these were the changes of 1.4.1 in Arena. I think they're great changes, and all the changes have been kind of coming fast and furious for Arena that were much needed. I'm very happy to see this progress, and I hope you enjoyed my first long-form video. If there's any way you think I could improve, or the kind of content you'd like seeing going forward, please don't hesitate to let me know in the comments below. And thank you so much for your time. Please like, comment, and subscribe if you'd like to see more content like this. Have an excellent day. Bye now.